So Tony Ferguson believes that Bobby Green's eye poke was intentional in first statement since UFC 291. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So we're going to talk about the Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green drama. Bobby Green went pretty hard on Tony Ferguson in his aerial. I mean, he responded very hard. You know, he called him a crazy person. I'll show you guys his entire statement. I'll show you what he's responding to because Tony Ferguson is crazy. And he said that, the only reason that this fight didn't go his way is because he got poked in the eye. I mean, listen, dude, I'm not minimizing eye pokes, but like he straight up said that had it not been for the eye poke, he definitely would have won. And you're like, okay, he's also just coming into his prime, and if you look at the results of these recent fights, I mean, listen, God, I hate this. I don't want to feel like I am being disrespectful to Tony Ferguson because I'm not meaning to do that, dude. Tony Ferguson is one of the biggest savages to ever fight ever. He's a legend. He's a complete... I would never want to fight that guy. There are a ton of professional fighters in the UFC that I would much rather fight than Tony Ferguson. That guy's he's an animal. But we have to talk about this objectively. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to. He's lost 6 in a row. Okay? And he didn't just lose 6 in a row. Like, it's not just like 6 in a row. There's like it's a progressive trend of loss that I will show you in a second here. And, also, so on the back side of this video, I'm going to put the first part of my new members only video that I did today about Ariana Grande, who is a husband stealing, home wrecking, skis. I have some more choice words for her, in the actual members only video, but basically, cause I can say whatever I want, dude. Members only, dog. I can say whatever I want. So if you want to watch that and the other stuff that I'm putting up there, I'm just basically talking about whatever I want, dude. I see a story about the fact that Ariana Grande has stolen 6 husbands. She's destroyed all these relationships. And she's just like, if you want to tap Ariana Grande, the best way to do it is to be in a committed relationship and then let her meet your girl. And she's like, it's like a sport to her, dude. It's insane. It's totally insane. So, yeah. You'll get to see a preview of that at the end. So if you want to join the members, do that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would really appreciate it if you're going to watch my content that you do that. The members stuff, that's money. To watch my regular stuff, all I ask is that you subscribe, and that's free. And I appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you guys in advance. All right. So let me show you this really quick. Okay. So this is what, just to start, because Tony Ferguson, I'm going to read you his statement and all that, right? About the eye poke being the definitive thing that caused him to lose. Well, let's just go back May 2020, little over 3 years ago, obviously is when this started. He loses to Justin Gaethje. He gets beaten and finished in the 5th round in one of the most, man, if you really watch that fight, dude, first of all, if you watch that fight, Tony Ferguson looks like a different person. It's crazy. Even though he got his ass kicked in that fight, he looks like a completely different person. He looks so much better in that fight than he does now. But like, the stoppage is so much scarier. It's so much scarier than like a Dustin Poirier stoppage. Like Justin Gaethje kicks Dustin Poirier in the head and he falls flat, head hits the canvas and you're like, damn, that's scary. But not like this one, dude. Tony Ferguson took so much punishment to where, and he starts walking away with his face going like this. You're like, whoa, dude. It is a scary amount of damage that he took, right? So he gets stopped there. Then he goes through 6 consecutive rounds of getting dominated by Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush. Obviously, both very good fighters, but certainly not good enough to have gotten 6 straight rounds on a prime Tony Ferguson. Then he wins a round against Michael Chandler. First round of the Chandler fight, he won, I think. I don't have that. I was at the fight. So like I said, a person watching on TV always has a better view. But then 17 seconds into the next round, he gets kicked in the face in one of the most hellacious knockouts in the history of the sport. Then he fights Nate Diaz, and he gets beat up and then gets submissioned, gets a guillotine choke on him in the 4th round. Really no shame in getting choked by Nate Diaz. Long-time black belt in jiu-jitsu. Very, very, very good. Great guillotine. Long-ass arms. And then in this one, he gets beat up and then... then he gets submitted by Bobby Green. And that is where I want to talk first about the idea that the eye poke is what did it. Actually, first, let me read you his statement. Okay, so Tony Ferguson, actually, sorry, let's go back here. So Tony Ferguson believes that Bobby Green's eye poke was intentional in first statement since UFC 291. Yikes. He thinks Bobby Green intentionally eye poked him. Unbelievable. Okay. So he believes Bobby Green knew what he was doing after accidental eye poke. Okay, so Tony Ferguson believes he knew exactly what he was doing. He did, yeah. I mean, he got the knockdown, but like, again, I'm not entertaining this. I'm just not, dude. Walked into the Delta Center to show the world I was back on track. The preparation for this fight was exceptional, and it was one of the best camps I've ever had. As the fight began, I was in the zone, flowing, feeling confident. Bobby knew the direction of the fight, and I believe he knew what he was doing when he poked my eye. He has a big history of moves like this. It significantly impaired my vision, making it difficult to see clearly out of my eye. Despite the eye poke, I never considered stopping the fight. I believe that. He's the toughest dude on earth, although the doc wanted to. Throughout my career, I've always pushed through challenges and never given up. True. This time was no different. Unfortunately, in sports, setbacks like this are part of the journey. While I won't use the eye poke as an excuse for the outcome, I know for a fact I have more to give. Okay, so it's like, honestly, after reading that statement, I'll tell you, number one, he absolutely is using the eye poke as an excuse. And, but I mean, listen, I have all the respect in the world for this guy. I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on him because I'm really not, dude. But you have to be a little bit crazy to fight in the UFC. You have to be a little bit crazy. And some people are a little bit crazier than others. Okay? And the idea, like, I watched the fight, man. I watched it on TV this time. So I had a pretty good view. The idea that was an intentional eye poke is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It was not an intentional eye poke. And so you got Bobby Green responded here, and I think he actually did a really good job. So he's like, if you argue with a crazy man, you're probably crazy. So I'm not going to argue with him. On one side of it, he thinks I'm intentionally trying to do this for this fight. So I'm not going to argue with him on that aspect. He's crazy with that, but you can't argue with crazy. The other part of this side of it, I feel like I'm sad, and I'm sad because it's a mark on my body of work. It's sad because it means he thinks it would have gone differently. I don't need to cheat. No, guys, my skills pay the bills. Trust me, I rely on the skills. I don't rely on athletics. I don't rely on this and that. The skills in this, a lot of things you guys don't understand is happening. And so I feel bad because I did do the eye poke, but I felt bad that it happened. And then, at the end, he's like, he's a legend. He's a legend. It just makes me sad that he would think that. And, it's a good response. I mean, look, dude, like, eye pokes happen and it sucks. I agree that it sucks. I think the UFC should really get Trevor Whitman's gloves. Dude, and you know what? Let me just say this. I was having a conversation with some people about Trevor Whitman's gloves that curl the fingers down so that, when you put your palm out, you can't do the thing where you put your finger in their eye. And I was just like, I'm just assuming that the reason why the UFC has never adopted them is it must make it harder to grapple, right? Like if it curls your fingers, it must make it harder to grapple. And I hit up Anthony about it. I texted Anthony Smith. I was like, hey, dude, have you ever used those, have you ever used the gloves, the Trevor Whitman gloves that curl the fingers down? Does it make it harder to grapple? He's like, not at all. He's like, they're perfect. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, they're fantastic. And I'm like, do you know why the UFC hasn't implemented them yet? And he didn't. So I started poking around and asking around. And what I found out was that the UFC did want to implement them, but they wanted to buy the patent. Okay. They wanted to buy the patent from Trevor Whitman. Like they wanted to own this, the technology altogether. And Trevor Whitman didn't want to sell it to him. He just wanted to sell them the gloves. Like he wants to keep the patent and sell the gloves. It's his idea. It's his thing. And the UFC didn't want to do it that way, so they haven't done it. And I did a video about this before. I'm like, it's not cool, dude. You know what I mean? I understand business and negotiating, but like people's eyes are getting hurt. Like you can buy the gloves, put them in, and then negotiate to potentially buy the patent. Why are you not buying the gloves? People keep getting injured. They keep getting their eyes poked out. You know what I mean? I don't understand. Why would you? I mean, assuming that that's a true story, That's why they haven't done it, is over because they want to actually buy the patent. You know, maybe they're thinking that if they don't start buying the gloves, then, you know, maybe Trevor Whitman's business doesn't grow, and then he'll end up selling them the patent, which is potentially a smart strategy. I don't know. But bottom line is, if it's also coming at the expense of people's health and their eyesight, then fuck that shit, dude. That's not a good strategy. Like, put the people in the gloves where they're not going to hurt people. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I don't know, man. I'm trying not to shit on Tony. I feel for the guy, dude. I really do. It just, he didn't poke him in the eye on purpose, man. He did not poke him in the eye on purpose. It's ridiculous, man. So, take a look at this, part of this video, me talking about Ariana Grande being a total prostitute, though. I think you guys will like it. And then if you really like it, you can go join the members club, and you can see all of my videos like this, because I have a lot of them up already, and I'm going to keep on doing them. Love you guys. Peace. All right, so Ariana Grande is a whore. And you want to know why I get to say that? Because this is the members only section. And so I get to say whatever I want over here. Okay? First 2 seconds of the video, I can say a thing like, Ariana Grande is a whore, because it's not monetized over here. I can say whatever I want, and it won't get flagged, and that is what it is, and I love it. And we're going to talk about it, because Ariana Grande, she's not only a whore, she's crazy. This is a crazy person. Like, it's a legit crazy person. A person who went through a trauma when she was young, and now inflicts the exact same trauma on people everywhere that she goes. Like, these stories blow my mind. They really do, dude. And I don't want to be like insensitive. I will say, I am grateful that I never went through anything like this, you know, and or any other kind of trauma, because I wouldn't want to be a person who was going around and destroying people's lives because someone did that, you know, to me when I was a kid. Because you don't want to know what the crazy. So that's Ariana Grande stole somebody's husband who had just had a baby, like destroyed their life. They've been together for 10 years. There's no chance that Ariana Grande is going to stay together with this guy. I'll show you guys this whole thing. And since this story came out, because it's so egregious, like it is so egregious, there's no defending it. It's like this guy had been a high school sweetheart with this girl for 10 years. He ends up doing a movie with Ariana Grande. He's not even super famous. He's not even good looking. He's a complete and total nerd. And he just like left his wife. They had like a brand new baby. And he's like, yeah, I'm together with Ariana Grande. And then all of a sudden, all these other girls have now come out, and they're like, Ariana Grande, she had sex with my boyfriend. She had sex with my fiance. She had sex with my fiance. She stole my husband. Like, it's like she does it over and over and over and over and over. Like, dude, if you want to get down with Ariana Grande, like, dude, I'm probably a prime target for her. She'd look at my Instagram and be all, oh my God, his wife's really pretty. He has 3 kids. He looks like he loves her. I wonder if I could fuck him out of that marriage. I'm like, bitch, you should definitely try. You should definitely try. I would just do it, and then I would tell Gabrielle, I'd be like, dude, she actually thought that I would leave you. So I tapped that ass, you know, just so I could say it, just so you could tell your friends and be like, dude, Jesse had sex with Ariana Grande. What do you think about that? I bet your husband hasn't had sex with Ariana Grande. And then I was like, oh, wait, you thought I was going to leave my wife for you? Do you understand what it's like having sex with her? It's a lot better than having sex with you. Get the fuck out of here, you little creep. Go destroy someone else's marriage. Anyway, so